Dear cherished child, listen attentively. If you trust in God, say Amen. This is an essential message for you today. Don't disregard it. Take heed of this message. This is the voice of your Lord and God. There are instances in life when certain relationships weigh heavier on the heart than others. Not because they are beyond repair, but because the connection is deep, emotional, and filled with unspoken feelings. For many, that weight is most deeply felt within the family, where love and misunderstanding frequently coexist. Today, this message comes not with judgment, but with compassion, not to accuse or blame, but to gently realign your spirit with peace, clarity, and trust in divine timing. Archangel Michael stands not as a warrior today, but as a guardian of sacred family bonds, specifically the one between you and your daughter. What heaven perceives is not rebellion or wrongdoing. What heaven perceives is pain. Unspoken, misunderstood, quietly carried pain on both sides. The bond between parent and child is one of the most spiritually complex and sacrosanct. There's no user manual, only intention, effort, and love striving through every season. And now a new season is dawning, one where healing is being invited gently, gradually yet consistently. The message isn't about anger, it's about awareness. God doesn't gaze upon your daughter with wrath. God gazes upon her with eyes identical to those he looks upon you with. Eyes that capture the entire scene. The foundation of decisions, the burden of expectations, the yearning to be recognized, acknowledged, and comprehended. Your daughter isn't a disappointment. She is a soul still unraveling, still learning how to navigate herself in a world that frequently expects too much, too fast. And you have loved her more than you have ever been capable of expressing. Even in the moments of quiet, distance, or agitation, that love still resonates and heaven has acknowledged it. The phrase, "a deal was struck secretly," isn't about deceit. It's about misunderstanding, the kind that arises when people feel overlooked or hesitant to express their truth. This isn't a betrayal. It is a sign that gentleness should return to the space between you. There are discussions still to be held, truths still to be disclosed, and grace yet to be extended. Heaven isn't asking you to correct her. Heaven is asking you to understand her, to look past the behavior and into the soul. And heaven will help her duplicate the action for you. Michael envelops this bond now, not to shield one party, but to steer both hearts towards each other, not forcefully. But with divine timing, the energy between you and your daughter can mend. Not instantly and not through flawless words, but through intent, through forgiveness, through small holy instances that convey, "I'm still around. I've always been here." And when that change initiates, when that first gentle word is uttered or even just sensed, the spiritual burden you've both borne will begin to ease. God isn't angry, God is restoring. God is accompanying both of you separately and together. You aren't adversaries, you are reflections, souls linked by blood but also by choice. The choice to persist, the choice to love, the choice to trust that healing is feasible. So don't hurry this moment, don't dread it. Let it be the start of something new. The past can't be altered, but the future is still expansive. And in that future, there's room for honesty, tenderness, and love that no error or misconception can erase. There are times when the most potent transformations commence not in what is said, but in what is felt, quietly surrendered. That moment when you stop pushing for words, when you stop rehearsing the ideal way to express everything, when you take a breath and understand that healing doesn't always start with conversations. Sometimes it starts with empathy, gentle empathy. And right now, that's what's unfolding between you and the one you care about. Deeply, you may not have communicated recently as you would like. Perhaps words have been absent, strained, or tense. Type 222 to claim it. Maybe you've carried unspoken thoughts like unanswered questions, pondering how things got so complex. But heaven sees something you can't always see. That even in silence, love is at work. That beneath the surface of all the unspoken emotions, something is softening. Slowly, yes. Quietly, yes. But it's happening. A shift, a return, a readiness to listen, to be heard, to forgive, and to start anew. Archangel Michael stands with peace over this relationship, not guarding it from harm, but creating space for transformation. He knows that the bond between two hearts doesn't break due to distance. It bends, it strains, it stretches, but with grace it can recover. And now is the moment when recovery begins. Not because everything is perfect, but because something inside both of you is ready. You desire peace over pride. You don't have to be the one with all the solutions. You don't require a flawless speech. All that's asked of you is this: keep your heart unguarded. Even if you're unsure about what to say, even if part of you still feels hurt or disheartened or exhausted, just stay unguarded. Not to be right, but to be genuine. Because deep within her heart, she's been pondering too. She's been feeling the burden. She's been carrying her own doubts. And whether she knows how to express it or not, the love you sowed in her, even through your own flaws, it still flourishes. She remembers more than you might suspect. Not only the disagreements or confusions, but the times when you stood by her even when she didn't acknowledge you. The instances you shielded her even when she didn't comprehend why. The affection you expressed through actions, presence, and sacrifice. That affection has never abandoned her. It may be hidden beneath emotions, but love doesn't fade. It endures. It observes. It withstands the storm until the skies are serene enough for reconciliation. And heaven is assisting in clearing those skies. Now God isn't angry. God is preparing minds for a moment. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but a moment that will arrive. A door will open. A dialogue will start. A gentleness will return. You don't need to force it. You only need to believe in it, to trust that this is not the end of the tale. That your love, even when imperfect, still holds strong power. This is not about blame. It's about family. And family at its core is not made of demands. It's made of grace. Grace that forgives. Grace that allows growth. Grace that creates room for both sorrow and healing to coexist side by side until one gradually yields to the other. There comes a juncture in every profound bond when love is tried, not by distance or disagreement, but by the delicate space between wanting to aid and needing to let go. When you care about someone deeply, the urge to safeguard them can become deafening. You wish to defend them from harm, chart their course, correct their errors before they occur. But there's a form of love that transcends protection, a love that trusts, a love that sets free, a love that says, I am here for you, even if I can't solve everything for you. This kind of love isn't weakness, it's maturity. It's the strength to offer space without taking control. The courage to say, I trust your path even when I don't grasp it. That's where you are now. In the space where your soul is being asked to loosen its hold, not out of disconnection, but out of faith. Faith in the one you love. Type God is good if you love God. Faith in their journey. Faith in the God who sees what you can't. Archangel Michael reminds you now, you're not abandoning them, you're allowing them to evolve. Evolution seldom occurs when love holds too tightly. It happens in space, in breath, in freedom. That doesn't mean you stop loving. It means your love takes on a new form. One that watches without criticism. One that offers help without suffocating. One that whispers, I believe in you even in the silence. The relationship between you and your loved one, especially if it has been strained, distant, or emotionally taxing, is not beyond repair. It's simply being restructured, moved from one kind of bond to another. One where neither of you needs to be flawless, correct, or in charge. One where healing can occur, flows in both directions. Sometimes through action and other times through yielding. God isn't asking you to mend everything. He is asking you to trust that love can function even when words fail. Presence matters more than pressure. You don't need to be the solution. You only need to stay accessible in peace. The person you care about, whether it's your daughter or someone else dear to you, is walking their own sacred path, one that will include errors, bewilderment, development, and eventually understanding. But they will reach this point not because you forced them, but because you provided them with something scarce. Space without abandonment, love without dominance, support without coercion. Letting go doesn't mean stepping away emotionally. It means temporarily vacating the role of protector so God can step in. It means trusting that your love, your prayers, your presence, even silent and unseen, are still performing sacred work. You don't have to shoulder it all. You never did, and your worth isn't defined by what you can correct. It's gauged by how faithfully you can love softly, steadily, without needing to dictate someone else's narrative. You aren't failing them by letting go. You are liberating them to ascend, liberating yourself for relaxation. There's a form of pardon that numerous individuals discuss. The kind that concludes with a hug or an emotional exchange or the right phrase spoken at the right time. But then there's the tranquil type, the kind that takes place within your chest when no one else is observing, the kind that doesn't require approval or confirmation, the kind that says, I set this free now not because it didn't hurt, but because I don't wish to carry it anymore. That's the sort of pardon your spirit might be confronting right now. Pardon doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean agreeing with what occurred or pretending the pain didn't impact you. Pardon means opting for peace over evidence. It means you stop needing the other person to see what you saw, feel what you felt, or say what you wish they would. It means you exit the waiting room, the place where your heart clings to hurt, just in case one day the apology arrives. You step into something higher, something softer, something that says, even if they never fully understand, I choose to liberate myself regardless. Archangel Michael stands by you in this moment, not wielding a sword of judgment, but a shield of protection. Graciousness stems from forgiveness, which serves as shielding. Not for the other individual, but for you, for your tranquility, for your future, for your spirit. You were never intended to bear the burden of another person's actions indefinitely. And while your feelings are genuine, all of them, you also deserve liberation from their pressure. Perhaps the one who harmed you was unskilled in loving you genuinely. Perhaps they were engulfed in their own suffering. Perhaps they didn't perceive how much you cherished them or how diligently you worked. Or maybe they did know and still fell short of your expectations. Regardless, your recovery doesn't hinge on their understanding. Your healing commences the instant you allow your heart to loosen up and utter, I wish to feel light once more. Forgiveness is a present you bestow upon yourself when you decide to stop being identified by the wound. When you no longer want the pain to dictate the remainder of your tale. And it doesn't always occur instantaneously. Sometimes it arrives in layers, a choice you make repeatedly. Each time the memory resurfaces, but every time you choose it, you sever one more link to the past, and you provide love, genuine love, space to flourish in the present. Type 1111 if you love God, Jesus. God isn't asking you to disregard your pain. He's asking you to relinquish what no longer benefits your tranquility. Since the space within you that harbors resentment cannot accommodate light simultaneously, and you were designed to harbor light. The type of light that tenderizes you, that directs others, that liberates generations beyond you. So even if the person you're forgiving never acknowledges their mistake, you can still elect healing. Even if they're no longer present to hear the words, your soul can still let them go. This is your time not to overlook what transpired, but to remember who you are above it. Sometimes the gap between two people doesn't stem from a single moment. It develops gradually over time through miscommunications, unvoiced feelings, differing viewpoints, or even just the subtle din of life pulling you apart. But no matter how distant things may seem now, the truth persists. If love was once authentic, it still endures beneath the quiet. It hasn't vanished. It's merely been waiting for the opportune moment to reappear. Reconciliation doesn't always initiate with a significant discussion. Frequently, it originates in smaller actions. A change in vibe, a softening of the heart, a decision to view the person differently. Past the past. That's where healing starts. Not with force, but with quiet openness. A moment of grace that murmurs, perhaps we can try again, perhaps we can rebuild, perhaps it's not too late to understand each other, even if we never fully agree. Archangel Michael envelops the space between you and your loved one. Not to fix everything immediately, but to securely hold the connection as it heals. His presence isn't about pressure, it's about presence. A reminder that you don't have to solve everything at once, you don't need to force closeness. Sometimes the most sacred healing happens in the slow recovery. In the moments when both hearts, still hurt but still beating, take even one step toward peace. It's okay if trust has been shaken. It's okay if things don't feel the same. Reconnection doesn't mean returning to what was. It means creating something new from where you both are now. Something more authentic, something more tender, something that allows both of you to breathe. Your heart may be questioning, what if I try and respond? But remember this, the act of reaching out, even in thought, even in prayer, already changes something. It opens a space, it plants a seed. And even if the other party doesn't immediately reciprocate, your effort initiates change. A person isn't fully ready to accept it, the energy of that intention still passes between you. It softens what was once harsh. It warms what was once cold. And with time, that energy finds its way into action, perhaps through a message, a look, a change in tone, a moment of sincerity that catches you both off guard. God values reconciliation not as a command, but as a wish to see hearts reunite. And home doesn't have to be noisy or dramatic. It can be quiet. It can seem like understanding without needing agreement. It can feel like peace instead of performance. And if both hearts are open, even slightly, reconnection will come gradually, naturally, honestly. Let your love show up again. Not through big gestures, but through small ones, a kind word, a gentle voice, a willingness to hear even if the conversation is messy. These are sacred actions. These are how we rebuild, not because we forget what happened, but because we decide something deeper is still attainable. When trust has been damaged or weakened by distance, silence, or misunderstanding, it can feel fragile, like something that might never return to the way it once was. Yet that's the point about trust. It doesn't need to revert to its original form. It's not about recreating what was. Instead, it's about gradually, patiently constructing something new, authentic, something robust enough to endure even stronger than before due to the trials it has faced and choices made anew. Trust isn't a prepackaged present. It's constructed in layers over time, through reliability, through presence. And sometimes the most potent method for rebuilding it isn't through grand gestures, but small ones. Being there, being truthful, being compassionate even when things remain uncertain. That's how trust starts to grow and thrive again. Type 777 if you believe in God, Jesus. Currently, you might be giving room to someone dear, someone whose actions puzzled you, whose silence may have wounded you, whose absence left you questioning. And though your heart is open, a part of you still queries, can we truly find our way back? Can they recognize me now? Will they trust my affection again? And can I believe in theirs? Archangel Michael provides a gentle response. Yes, if both are prepared to proceed slowly. If you relinquish the urge to hurry and instead allow your heart to communicate through consistent actions instead, you'll find your path. Since trust isn't about perfection. It's about appearing time and again, even when it seems simpler to leave, especially in awkward or uncertain situations. Sometimes rebuilding trust means tolerating silence without panic. Sometimes it means granting the other person space without continual reassurance. And sometimes it means saying, I'm still here. Even if you don't know exactly where they are emotionally, it means maintaining a space. It means staying understanding. It means entrusting the process to fate even when the end seems unclear. You may not be able to correct everything that transpired, but you can establish new moments based on honesty, humility, and affection. You can alter the energy between you. You can pick to be reliable, not to prove yourself, but to stay true to who you are now. And you can hope for the other person to feel secure enough to meet you there eventually. Fate isn't in a rush. It heals what's damaged with patience, not pressure. And the same grace given to you is being offered to the one you care about. You both grow. You both learn. You both strive for something better than the past. Here it goes, and that's enough. That's vital. What matters most right now isn't how fast trust rebuilds, but how delicately it starts. You don't need every solution. You just need to be ready to take the next appropriate step to stay gentle in a world that has asked you to toughen up. And to remember that often love isn't boisterous. It's steady, quiet, reliable, and that's where trust finds its way back. When someone feels secure around you, they stop hiding, they stop guarding, they start softening. Real emotional healing doesn't begin with grand speeches. It begins in small moments. The way you listen without hurrying, the way you stay calm when things get tense, the way you create space without trying to fix it all. That's how emotional safety grows, not from proving yourself, but simply by being steady, gentle, and truthful. Archangel Michael reminds you you don't need to strive for closeness. Just stay open. Your presence is more healing than you think. And when they're ready, they'll return to that calm, not because you forced it, but because you offered peace instead of pressure. If you believe in God, say Amen. Subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching this God message. May God, Jesus, will grant you abundance in every aspect of your life. Type 222 if you agree.